Hello, this is Professor Johnson, and I'm ready for another segment of Views from an HBCU columnist. And so today we're going to talk about how to maximize profits using Microsoft Excel. And specifically, we're going to be looking at a firm that's operating in a monopolistic competitive market, and then we are going to show how you would maximize profits there, and also make some distinctions about how it's different in perfect competition. So I'm looking forward to showing you this. So the question is how to maximize profits with Excel. First, what I want to say is that I do have some other videos where I show how to use Excel and specifically how to use cell references and what a spreadsheet would look like. And so I would check those videos because now I'm going to be spending a little more time on some of the formulas that go into profit maximization. And so the example we're going to go over right now is dealing with Terry T-shirts. And this is a firm that's operating in a monopolistically competitive market. And what that means is that unlike perfect competition, where you have a large number of firms selling an identical product, this is a market where there's some distinctions between t-shirts. We would be able to tell, like for instance, a Nike shirt, you could look at that and see that it's different than an Adidas shirt based on looking at the emblem. So that's the market we're dealing with. And we're also not dealing with monopoly where you just have one firm that's serving the whole market. And so this is monopolistic competition, and this is actually the one that's most prevalent in today's society. And so let's look at it. All right, so here's the problem. You see the table. There's some columns here that are given. One giveaway to know that it's not perfect competition. Notice that the price changes by quantity. So that lets you know that it's not perfect competition because price is the same across all companies. And then the total cost is given to you. And so let's look at this first question, calculating total revenue and average cost for each quantity. And so what we want to do is look at OpenStax to see the two formulas for those concepts. So I'm here in the OpenStax Principles of Microeconomics, second edition, and I'm actually going to go to chapter 7, and I'm actually going to click on key terms, and I'm going to scroll down here to revenue. And so this is the definition of revenue, and actually I want to focus in on this last part, price times quantity sold. And so when you look at the table, you'll see price and quantity. So I need to know that for revenue, for total revenue. And then what I want to do is I want to go here to cost in the short run, which is section 7.3. And I'm going to scroll down here. And the formula I want here is average cost, and it's right here, AC. And this is total cost divided by quantity. So let's go back here and look at the Microsoft Word. So we've got total cost, that's right here. We've got price and quantity for revenue and total cost and quantity. So we have enough information to calculate both of these problems. And so the next thing that I want to do here is I want to left click, and I want to copy. I can right click and hit copy, or I go to home and hit copy up there in the upper left hand corner. So let's do that. And then what we're going to do is open up an Excel spreadsheet. And so once I have the Excel spreadsheet opened up, I'm going to hit home, and then I'm going to hit paste. And that should paste my table. All right, so remember the formula for revenue. It's price times quantity. So it's basically column B and column A. So what I want to do here is I want to click on the equal sign. It'll be up here, equal. And then just type in column B, row 2. That's price. And then above the 8, you'll see an asterisk. And so I want to click on that. And then column A, A2, or you can left click on it. You can type in A2 or B2 times A2, or just click on the number. And notice that these are cell references. These are not numbers. And so that's total revenue. 0 times 18 makes sense at $0. $0. And then what you can do is put your cursor on the lower right-hand corner. And so there, you might see a thick white T. And when you go in the lower right-hand corner, it becomes very skinny T. And that's how, and then you left click and then drag, and that's how you copy the formula. And so 10 times 14 is 140 and so forth. So it copies that formula real quick. And now we're going to do average cost, which is this column. I can't do it for 0, so I'm just going to put in not applicable. But I can do it for the next one. Remember that is total cost divided by quantity. So here, I'm going to left click underneath and not applicable, and I'm going to hit equal. And then what I want to do is click E, column E, row 3, or click on that cell, and then bracket, which is below the question mark on the keyboard. And then I'm going to go over to column A, row 3, and left click there. And that is how I get average cost. So now I'm going to left click on the 12, then put my cursor right on the edge of the lower right hand corner, left click, and then drag. And that's how we get average cost. And so you might have noticed that it's rounded to the nearest dollar. So what I want to do here is I want to go up here and I want to make it to the nearest penny. So I'm going to left click this twice, and that's going to get it to the nearest penny. And so that's how we do average cost. So now for marginal revenue, marginal cost, I'm actually going to shift over to chapter 8 and go into section 8.2 and click on that. And then I'm going to scroll down. And the formula for marginal revenue is here. It's change in total revenue divided by change in quantity. It's a little bit different. And so I'll show how to do change in Excel. And then marginal cost is actually very similar. The only difference here is we're looking at the numerator, change in total cost divided by change in quantity. So notice the differences, the subtle difference in both equations. So now I'm going to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. So here for marginal revenue, I'm gonna, for 0, I can't do marginal whenever you do change and you need the previous quantity, and so we're not going to be able to find the marginal revenue for 0 quantities, but for every subsequent quantity, we're going to be able to do that. And so let's just remember the formula marginal revenue. Basically, what I'm going to do in this cell is I'm going to click equal and then take the differences between the two revenues. And so let me show you what this looks like without the formula. So I really want to get TR2, and I'll tell you what TR2 stands for, and then subtract TR1, which is the previous total revenue at the previous quantity. And then I want to divide all of that. And so what I'm going to do here is underline this to show the division sign. And then I want to do Q2 minus Q1. So that's really the formula that I want to plug into Excel. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I want you to know TR2 is the current total revenue. And so in this case, it would be total revenue when the quantity is 10. So that's 140. And you'll note that that is C3. And I want to put that in parentheses, just like I had it under there. And then after C3, I'm going to subtract the previous total revenue. So I'm going to go to the one right above 140, and that's C, row 2. And then I'm going to put that in parentheses. And then I'm going to go the bracket, which is underneath the question mark. And then I'm going to do another parentheses. And then I'm going to do the change in quantity. And so that's going to be column A, row 3. And I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to subtract the one above that, which is column A, row 2, and put that in parentheses. And that is how we calculate marginal revenue. And so left click and then drag, that's going to copy the marginal revenue downward. And so that's marginal revenue. Make this dollar signs. So that's another way we can do that. So just that's a quicker way to get the currency. And so let me do that for all of these. Just hit the dollar sign. I should have done that earlier. And so I didn't want to do that. All right. So now marginal cost. Let's put the formula down here first. So for marginal cost, the difference here is TC2 minus TR1, or 2TC1, I should say. And then we're going to divide that by Q2 minus Q1. Notice not much of a difference. All right. The only difference there, I'm looking at column E rather than column C. So let's do that. So that'll be equal parentheses, column E row 3, subtract the one above it, column E row 2, put that in parentheses, put another parenthesis, bracket sign and parentheses, and now I'm going to go back here, column A row 3, subtract the one above that, column A row 2, put that in parentheses, and that's my marginal cost. And by the way, let me put this in the dollar currency, and then just left click and drag in the corner, and here we have marginal cost. And so what I've actually done here, and actually what you can do is you can copy and paste this. I've actually and filled out this whole graph. So actually what we can do is just, you notice I just deleted that table, and now what I'm going to do is click comb and then paste. And so there's my table. And so I've actually answered both of these questions. C table. And now the last question is, what price and quantity will maximize profits for Terry t-shirt? Okay, I want to go back to OpenStax, and I'm actually going to scroll down, be in the same section. I'm going to scroll down, and in the yellow here is the key. The profit maximizing choice, and this is for a perfectly competitive market firm. But you note that that is in perfect competition, perfectly competitive firm. But I want you to note here, marginal revenue equals marginal cost. If we went to chapter 9 and section 9.2, and we scrolled all the way down here in monopoly, what we will note here, and this is in purple, the profit maximizing choice for monopoly will be to produce at the quantity where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. The rule is the same in monopoly, and here I'm going to keep scrolling down. And when we get into monopolistic competition, the rule remains the same. And that rule is right here. And that rule is right here. Marginal. You want to choose the quantity where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. That's how you maximize profits right there. So now that we know that, now what we want to do is compare this column, marginal revenue, and this column, marginal cost. And we want to see, where are they equal? They're not equal at 10 because 14 is not equal to 6. But at the quantity of 20, notice marginal revenue of 10 is the same. It's 10 for both marginal revenue and marginal cost. And thus, that's my answer. At the quantity of 20, and that's when the price is 12, the profit maximizing price and the profit maximizing quantity, and we get that 12 is right there, and then quantity is right there, it's 20. And so we've answered each of these questions. So hopefully that was beneficial, and really one of the main takeaways, in addition to learning how to do that in Excel, is to know that key rule of maximizing profits, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. That's going to be the case regardless of the market structure that you deal with. And so hopefully now, doing in Excel, you're faced with a problem, word problem, or homework assignment, you know how to set it up in Excel, and you don't have to use the calculator. So, thank you.